Hey everybody, Justin here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing Roush's single exhaust system with the black tips, fitting all 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150s, excluding the tremor. Now the Roush Catback with the black tip should appeal to the 5-liter truck owners out there who want that iconic, aggressive Roush tone, along with a super high quality 304 grade stainless build, all for right around that $1,200 price point. All right, but let's not waste any more time. Let's just jump right into that signature Roush tone you can expect when bolting up this system to your Coyote-powered truck. And as you guys heard with our sound clips, if you want plenty of volume, if you want aggressiveness, the Roush will certainly not disappoint. So going to my patented Wake the Neighbor scale, the Roush is coming in hot at a healthy 4 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. And while yes, the volume is certainly robust here, the tone is actually gonna be just as much of a story for me, because you are getting a deeper tone overall with the Roush, maybe a little bit of rasp, but overall, I would say all muscle here out of this system. Now inside the cab, listen, you're gonna hear this thing, right? It's aggressive, but at the same time, it's certainly not boomy or droney to anything to a point to drive you guys crazy on the road. Now with that being said, if you tow a camper, a boat, or anything you tow frequently, and you introduce more load into the truck, well then at that point, yes, you are gonna get more boom. And that is going to be the case with any aggressive system while towing. But, you know, unladen, if you're just driving this thing, daily driving, certainly shouldn't be a concern for you and your truck. Now moving into construction, and again, you are going to be looking at a very high quality build from one of the industry leaders in Roush. Specifically, we're talking about premium 304 grade stainless steel throughout, which is going to be the best of the best when it comes to resisting corrosion long term, and therefore would be perfectly fine on any truck in any climate. Now you're also going to find 3-inch mandrel bent tubing here predominantly throughout the entire system, guys. That 304 grade stainless is everywhere, and that tubing will lead into and out of your straight through Roush muffler here. Perforated tube design, kind of take some of the bite off the system while still allowing for plenty of volume and plenty of flow. Finally, everything will exit out of the twin 4-inch black tips here, guys. Embossed with that Roush logo. You are getting their Y pipes, so you're getting kind of that stepped pipe design. And those tailpipes will exit in the factory location behind your passenger side rear tire. Lastly, always like mentioning, the Roush system, of course, includes all of the factory style hangers and all the clamps needed for a very simple install. Talking price point here with the Roush, guys, certainly not going to be the most affordable system on the site, but you get what you pay for, and in this case, you're getting a very solid build quality and plenty of volume. So you're looking at just north of that $1,300 price point, which does put this system in line with other, premium stainless systems here on the site from companies like Borla, Corsa, or MagnaFlow. Now on the topic of price, guys, I should also mention that this system is compatible with the Roush Performance Active Exhaust Kit. So if you do eventually find that maybe it's a touch loud for you, you want the ability to tone it down a bit on the fly, you can do so. You just have to look into that Performance Active Kit that we talked about here on the site. Last but not least, we want to show you how to get the Roush system bolted up to your F-150 at home. Site's going to go solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. But now to give you a better idea of how this one might go down on your rig at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need an impact, various ratchets, an extension, for our case a 17mm swivel socket, 10, 13, 15, and 24mm sockets. For our case again, 15mm ratchet wrench, a 21mm ratchet wrench, hanger removal tool, tape measure, a marker, an angle grinder, and a cutting tool. Also not shown here is a pole jack and an extra set of hands to help you with your factory setup. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our F-150, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory exhaust, and we'll see you when you get back.
Start by grabbing your 13mm socket and undoing the 2 bolts at the flange. Next, take your exhaust hanger removal tool and get the muffler out of the isolator. Next, we're gonna slide our exhaust towards the tail end so we can get them out of the 2 additional hangers. And then we're gonna drop the whole exhaust as a full. I grabbed a buddy to help me out with that.
All right guys, welcome back. Now that we have our factory exhaust off and on the floor, there's a couple things we need to point out and do before we can go on with our new setup. Now you notice our new one right out of the box is longer than our factory one. We're gonna have to cut down our mid pipe to the appropriate size for our wheelbase truck, which ours in particular is a Super Crew with a 5.5 foot bed. It's a 145-inch wheelbase. So we'll show you where to mark that out and cut it if you need to, depending on the configuration of your truck. Another thing is the flange from the factory exhaust is meant to be reused on the new system. Now in order to get this off, you're gonna have to cut this. 2 options for that. If you don't care about reusing your factory exhaust, just go ahead and lop it off right between the resonator and the flange and go ahead and retrieve it. Now, if you wanna save your system, a good way to do this is to take a marker, and there is a kink here with a flat spot in the middle. Good thing to do would be to mark a straight line around this pipe along with some reference lines going parallel through it. That way, if you ever want to get this back together to stock, you can line this up and weld it back together with the flange back on. Now for demonstration purposes, we have another flange that we're going to be using because this won't be a permanent install, so we don't want to cut up our factory system unnecessarily. But doing this at home, you definitely will need to cut this off with whatever metal cutting tool you have available. Go ahead and cut that off, snatch that flange off of there, transfer that over to the new exhaust. Then we'll show you where to mark your mid pipe and we'll get that cut down as well. Now the overall length we're going to be looking for on our mid pipe is 42.2 inches from the side with the hanger rod welded on it. So from the other side, that's going to be roughly 18.5 inches. We do have a reference mark. We're going to take our tape measure and our marker. Just mark that out. Now you want to do this in several spots around the tubing to give you a better and easier way to cut it. So do that. Now that we've got this marked out, again, whatever metal cutting tool you have at home, go ahead and use that to chop this down to size and clean up the burrs on the inside and outside. We're gonna take ours over to our chop saw, get it cut down, we'll come back and clean it up. All right, so we're now over at our chop saw and we've got this locked into place and lined up, and we're gonna cut this down to size. Now remember, when using cutting tools like this, you at least wanna wear eye protection. Make sure your fingers don't get anywhere in bad spots. Now that we've got our mid pipe cut down to length, we're gonna grab our angle grinder and clean up all of the burrs on the outside as well as the inside. You don't wanna leave anything on the inside. It will be minor, but it will cause turbulence and alter your sound and flow, and we don't want that. Now one last thing we have to do before we go back onto the truck is we have ours off with our factory isolators off as well. You're gonna need to take those off of the factory setup so we can use them for the new one. So we've got our hanger removal tool. We'll do the one at the front of the muffler, the one at the rear, and the one for the tail. Now we're ready to start going onto the truck with our new setup, and we're gonna start with our flange piece. So once again, as mentioned, we do have an extra flange that we're using. This is where you would grab your factory flange that you cut off your original system and slide that onto your new setup. And we can get this onto our factory 2-bolt flange. We'll get this in position, get seated. At this point, you would reuse your factory hardware. Now, ours is swapped out because of many previous installs. We'll get our hardware through. Second bolt in. Now you just want to go hand tight for this for now, so we can have some adjustment as we move along. Next, we can install our mid pipe. So we've got one of our provided 3-inch clamps. Slide that over our slip joint first. We'll get our mid pipe in position. Get that seated. And we can get our factory hanger isolator onto our new hanger rod. And bolt this back into position with our 2 factory 10mm screws. We'll tighten those down with our 10mm socket on our ratchet. You see this still has room for adjustment. Next, we can install our muffler. So once again, another clamp onto our slip joint. And we've also got a pole jack to help us hold our muffler in place. Get everything lined up. We're gonna get this in position. We'll bring our mid pipe assembly up to meet it. Get that seated. Then we'll snug down this clamp to help hold everything in position. We're gonna use our 15mm socket on our impact to do that. All right, so now we're ready to install our over axle tail section. So once again, never want to forget your clamp. Slide that over your slip joint. We're also going to reinstall our 2 factory isolators. So one for our rear muffler section, as well as the one for our tail section. Now you want to remember that the upper mounting portion goes to the inside of the frame rail. Get that on, slide this over. Get this lined up with our muffler outlet. You may need to drop this down. Give enough clearance. And we can get our outlet hanger in. We'll get our isolator in position. We install our 10mm screw. Tighten that back down with our 10mm socket. Now we'll get our rear isolator in position. We'll get our bottom 10mm screw in first. Remember, you also have one on the inside of the frame rail that you can't see from your angle. But you do want to get that one back in too. And once again, we'll grab our 10mm socket. Next, we're going to need to loosen up our passenger side rear leaf spring shackle mount, the lower bolt, in order to install our tail section hanger that comes with our kit. So we've got a 21mm wrench and 24mm socket on a ratchet. But we're just going to loosen this up enough to get our mount into place. Once you have it loosened, you want to grab your mount. Make sure that can slide behind your shackle bolt. hold that in place. Tighten that right back down. Next, we can install our Y-pipe for our tips. Once again, you want to make sure you have your clamp on. This is going to be a little bit tricky. You want to get this lined up with your hanger. Get this through. This is a pretty tight fit first. Okay, if that falls. Make it easier, you can put your clamp on your tail section. You want to rotate this back. Now, if you find yourself having a lot of difficulty here, you can come back and loosen this up. So we'll do that now. And you want to make sure tips are facing the way you need to. So now we're going to get our Y-pipe in position of where we want our tips to go before we install the tips. Then we'll snug this clamp down, come back and fully adjust this, and then fully tighten our clamp. So we'll snug this with our 15mm socket. Just want enough to give it a little resistance. We're going to push that up. We're going to run it about even with the taper of our bed. Now we can get our tips installed. So we've got our provided clamps. Get those over our slip joints for our tips. We're going to install our forward one first. Now the slash cuts are meant to be facing back, the logo up. Now you do have some adjustability here if you want it to poke out or you want it to go more flush. We're going to go a good midway point. And we'll get this snug down with our 15mm socket. Now your tip will try to walk on you while you're tightening this down, so just do your best to hold it in position. Now we'll do the same thing for our rear facing tip. Now one thing about your clamps is you'll notice we're going to have them facing opposite each other. It's just to give ample clearance and make sure we don't run into any interference. So now, get these even. Once again, tighten down our clamps. Now once you've got everything in place, you want to double check and make sure nothing's going to be hitting or rubbing, and we'll go back and tighten everything down. So we'll tighten down our muffler outlet clamp. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Roush single exhaust system with black tips and side exit for your 21 and newer 5.0 liter F-150 excluding the Tremor. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.